My brothers and sisters, welcome to episode number 65 in the book of Deuteronomy. Today, what does a whole heart look like? So the call today is going to be for a whole heart, not a partial heart, not halfway, not divided. The prayer is for a whole heart in me, in you, in the people of God. So how do we get there? Well, Deuteronomy goes on and on about what the Lord does for the people of God. He sets his love on your fathers and their offspring. He chose you out of all the peoples. And Deuteronomy is the story of God kind of moving out of the midst of smoke and fire and moving into the midst of the planetary people that need a lot of help. And so the Lord is going to walk in the midst of your camp. And so, how shall I respond? Well, Deuteronomy is going to talk about that here today. The previous chapter, in chapter 26, verse 5, it says, "And you shall make response before the Lord for all the things he's done." And the picture is, what kind of response does he want? Which is, respond with a whole heart. So keep the whole command. Don't let the spiritual acres under your control and command give less than all of it to him. So here's the picture for today, the picture that he going to give us in our scripture today, which is build an altar of uncut stones. So build a response to God that's not divided, not partial, not segmented off. Make a response that gives to God all that he deserves, which of course is everything. So read with me, our official passage is in Deuteronomy chapter 27, starting in verse number 1. Now Moses and the elders of Israel commanded the people, saying, "Keep the whole command that I command you today. And on the day that you cross over the Jordan to the land that the Lord your God is giving you, you shall set up large stones and plaster them with plaster. And you shall write on them all the words of this law. When you cross over to enter the land that the Lord your God is giving you, a land flowing with milk and honey, as the Lord, the God of your fathers, has promised you. And when you have crossed over the Jordan, you shall set up these stones, concerning which I command you today on Mount Ebal. And you shall plaster them with plaster, and there you shall build an altar to the Lord your God, an altar of stones. You shall wield no iron of tool on them. You shall build an altar to the Lord your God of, wait for it, uncut stones. And you shall offer burnt offerings on it to the Lord, and you shall offer sacrifice. You shall sacrifice peace offerings, and eat there. And you shall rejoice before the Lord your God. And you shall write on the stones all the words of the law very plainly. Okay, so Mount Ebal is on the north side of Shechem, right in the middle of Israel. If I said, hey, draw a dot right in the middle of Israel, where would that be? So excavations of interest today on Mount Ebal have discovered what? You get one guess. It's an altar. It's a worship site, and it's huge. It's 30 feet by 23 feet. And of course, what kind of stones are used? Are they hewn with chisels? And no, it's constructed of unhewn stones. And the reason for this is our passage today, which is based on Exodus chapter 20, verse 25, which says, "If you make me an altar of stone, you shall not build it of hewn stones. For if you wield your tool on it, you profane it." So the spiritual question for us is, are you going to make an altar of response to all this that God has done for us? Are you going to make a sacrifice? Are you going to worship with something that costs you something? And the answer should be yes, you shall make a response. Now, what kind of response is it? Half-hearted? No. Even the rocks bear witness to the full-hearted response that God wishes. So, when one comes to the Lord, it's a beginning of a lifetime of mercies from God. So he tenderly does this gentle work and sometimes dramatic work of heart surgery on the believer. So if you come to him, expect this, that he begins the work of having an undivided soul inside you. So that is, he wants us to give all of us to him. So if you're stealing, stop it. If you're using your sexual agency in a way outside of his design, stop it. If you're dividing off your financial life from your spiritual life, stop that. If you're thinking about your spiritual life like pieces of a pie, that is, you can segment off one little slice of your spiritual life from your health and what you drink and who you love and how you love and what your character is, what you do with your time, what you do with your money, stop that. Your relationship isn't a piece of the pie. Your relationship with God is the whole pie and affects everything. So then he asks us to bring burnt offerings. Well, what are they? The burnt offerings are the offerings for sin, which is our great and ongoing problem. Now, the Old Testament to this timeless question is, what are you going to do about your sin? This is it. The answer is sacrifice. It's appeasement of a holy God by the blood and life of another being. It's an Old Testament animal, but it's temporary, it's incomplete, it's imperfect, and it's just a shadow of the real thing. Why is that? Because it's pointing towards the New Testament answer to the question, which is this permanent fix, which is, of course, Jesus, a perfect sacrifice, one for all and once for all time. So this is specifically why no further sacrifice is needed here today or is even appropriate today. And then finally, peace offerings. He says, bring peace offerings, which if this is really true and God has made a way to himself, then let's party. Let's have peace with God. We can rejoice before him. So how can I rejoice before him? By understanding what he's done for me and coming with an undivided heart. So we must make a response, a wholehearted, full disclosure. Will it cost us something? Absolutely. I certainly hope so and expect so. And what are we shooting for? A wholehearted response. Even the rocks bear witness to the full-hearted response that God desires. The call today is for a whole heart, not a partial, not halfway, not divided. The prayer is for a wholehearted response in me, in you, and in the people of God. Let's give him that today. Thanks for listening.